All right, welcome. Thank you all for coming. It's so fun to see so many people here from all sorts of different seasons of Bev's life. My name is Logan Posson. I'm from a more recent season of Bev's life. I feel like I am watching a TV show 17 or 19 seasons in. I have had to learn about Bev and Speedway Trails by talking to others. And from others, I have heard stories from the early seasons of Bev's involvement in Speedway and with Speedway Trails. She emerged as an unexpected advocate of trails and left the main character, the inspiration of Speedway Trails. In those early seasons, Bev would talk to anybody that listened about the benefits of Speedway Trails. She put on races, she showed maps, and I think I mentioned she would talk to anybody about the benefits of trails and Speedway. I've heard stories of the middle seasons of STA, where Bev's ideas became pavement. The P&E, the B&O were paved, ribbons were cut, and many people in the town of Speedway got to see our town from a different perspective on a nice, quiet trail along Crawfordsville Road or behind the trees of Leonard Park. I moved to Indy in 2019. The P&E and the B&O were the first places I visited, and it helped Indy feel like home. I didn't know at the time who was behind all of this, and would come to meet her a little bit later. I've heard of stories of the later seasons. There are seasons of loss with the pass of Dawn, Diane. There are seasons of gain, grandchildren, grants, new members of Speedway Trails, seasons of waiting, CSX, COVID, partially to blame, and seasons of connection. We connected downtown Indy's culture to the racing culture in downtown of Speedway. Speedway Trails helped build a bridge over Eagle Creek twice, but one time that was really stuck. It looks great. And this year, the conclusion of this year, connecting Marion County to Hendricks County. And what remained constant throughout this entire time was the main character, the unexpected advocate of trails, Bev. And Michael Kaufman best summarized Bev's impact. Politicians, nonprofits, or philanthropists do not make our city. Unrelenting, passionate, and focused neighbors like Bev make our city. The expansion of the B&O Trail was only possible because of Bev and her tireless advocacy, generous collaborative spirit, and infectious vision. We are all here tonight because Bev's impact on all of our lives, and there are thousands of others who she's positively impacted that don't even know who she is. So here's to Bev. On behalf of Speedway Trails and Friends, which is what you all are titled in our email thread, Speedway Trails and Friends, and I got that from Bev, so thank you all for reading your email and showing up tonight. We would like to present you a pendant with our Speedway Trails logo.
What? Oh, wow. It's a necklace with our logo. Thank you very much. Thank you all for listening to me talk all the time. If you hadn't listened, it wouldn't have happened, right? Thank you.
This could get a little awkward, and if nobody would like to, that's fine, but does anybody or would anybody here like to say anything about positive contributions? Bev, I know I did not ask anybody, yes.
I'm Angela Cole. I'm the president of the Speedway Running Club. And I just like to say, if it wasn't for Bev, the Speedway Running Club would not have a safe place to run. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m., right now we meet at Daredevil. When we started, we ran on the P&E. And then after that, we start running on the B&O. So if it wasn't for Bev, our run club wouldn't be in existence coming up to 10 years this year. So thank you, Bev.
All right. I wear your shirts all the time. They're awesome. Thank
Now you
you.
got a jacket. Cool.
It's going to go to Pennsylvania with you.
I'm Gary Rakes. I live at 15th Street across from Leonard Park, so lived there most of my life, actually. I bought the house I grew up in.
He's
And
the one that stood up for me at the student council meeting.
yeah,
Said, we're gonna do what's best for the town. Thank you, Gary.
yeah. I was going to say, Bev came to me, I think actually when I was on the Parks Board, eventually transitioned to redevelopment and then to the town council. And passionate was, the passion she has today was, it was not greater than the passion she had before there was anything or anybody involved. She had a vision, she had a dream, and she got a lot of folks, those in this room, and like you said, thousands of others, it seems like, to do this, to really invest in it, to buy into it. And I just want to say thank you. It's been,
Thank you for your support.
it was easy to support it. There were times where we actually got out and did a little work, but you did all the heavy lifting along with a lot of your closest friends. So thank you.
Thank you. It was really awesome for the first time at, this year at the Light the Night on Main, and Speedway Trails always has a booth there that for the kids to do crafts. And every other year, it was always me explaining, yeah, there's trails. Yeah, we could build a trail. Yeah, Speedway has the possibility of trails and building trails. For the first time this year, I had parents coming up and say, you know that trail you learned to ride your bike on? She built it. You know that trail we go walking on? They're the ones that built it. And Eileen was there with me, and that's what people were saying. People recognized that the trail got built, and it's done, and it's there for people use. And boy, that last 3 miles will be welcomed by everybody. Thank you very much. Appreciate all this. That's all right. Bye. Uh-oh, here comes Richard.
Talking about the different seasons, I'm old enough to go back several, and I'm going to prime Bev's pump by mentioning that while we all know the modern era, the P&E and what that's entailed, and thanks to DNR for allowing us to use the money to continue it, and for the town of Speedway to prime the pump, and now Speedway Trails is connecting to Indianapolis and will get up the hill. But before all of this happened, we have to go back a little ways to the early 90s, and Diana Virgil was getting the B&O going, but there was some interest in getting a trail going in Speedway, but it was very, very infantile. And then there was a school teacher
Yeah.
who put the kibosh on this for a year or two. And then Bev was walking behind Leonard Park, and there's some trees, and she said, we need to make a trail out of that so that people are walking on that to clean it up, like we know. Use avoids abuse. That goes back 37 years or so with the Monon. But clean that up, but in doing that, take out some trees, make a trail, and get it going. And that's what she did. And I'm going to let her, with that sort of priming of the pump, let her tell you about. I was dealing on the B&O board, and I was not as concerned about Speedway then, but I do know about the school teacher and such. And I would like for you to fill in the gaps way back then.
Way back. That goes a long way. So mid-90s, early 90s, the school teacher went to the town council and said, no, you cannot build a trail. It's 40 feet from my bedroom, and no, you cannot. And the town council said, okay, we won't. We won't support it, and it won't get done. Then I came along, and Gary came along, and Gary, you were on the town council, and you supported me and the trail, and you said you're going to do what's best for the town. A lot happened between that, and that was the redevelopment of Main Street. And if Main Street hadn't been redeveloped, then I don't think I would have had the town council support as much. But hey, that bike path on Main Street, all right, it's good, it pays to talk to people. So Gary, and
That teacher is 91,
she's 91, still there?
but she's actually complimentary of the trail today.
Great. Yay. I think going down into the park and away from her house that helped. But that was a three-way deal. It was give them privacy. It was allow trail people to use the restrooms and have water, and it saved money. That's right. It saved us money. So it was a deal that the school teacher instigated, and it's her fault that the trail's the way it is. But what a blessing. So you have to take the good and the bad and do what you can, and that's what we did. We got it done. So thank you all for all this work and for being here. Thank you. Warm, fuzzy feelings.
Hopefully there are other people. I'm not going to let you get out of town that easily. And I got a fear that that's the long-term plan, and I hate to see that happen. My name's John Reller, and I'm a recent addition to the Speedway community. And one of the things that made us aware of the quality was the trails, place that we wanted to live. And as I've gotten to know Speedway, Speedway's, as you guys know, Speedway, the old community that's been here for a long time, and Bev is a great example of that quality of individual and also what makes this community so unique. And with that, I want to kind of put Bev on the spot and find out where her roots are with Speedway and how long she's been a part of the Speedway town. Were you born here?
No, well, kind of, sort of, maybe. No. I lived in Indianapolis, but my mom and dad went to church at Speedway Christian Church. So when I was born, I went to Speedway Christian Church, and I grew up knowing everybody in Speedway because I grew up in the church. So even though I lived in Indianapolis, family members lived in Speedway. My sister moved to Speedway, and family members all part of Speedway. The family business, the Dotledge property on Poco Street was bought in 1950. So we've been property owners in Speedway since 1950 until last year, and we sold it. And you'll like what's coming, even though officially I cannot say what it is. You'll like what's coming. It's a good thing. Yeah, I grew up going to church in Speedway. You ask a lot of the people my age here, like, let's see, Jeff's family. Where's Jeff? There you are. His family knows all about my canary yellow GTO that goes 100 miles an hour. That the family, I have a brother a year older and a sister a year younger, and 2 years that we had that GTO was in 10 wrecks. So, yeah, no tickets. They were all minor wrecks. So that's the way it is. Yeah, Frank?
Bev not only talks a lot, she is a visionary. I first got involved when I was working at Zip Speed Weaponry on Main Street before that factory moved up to 54th and Guyan. And I would walk the trail or ride my bike to work utilizing the trail. And I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. I wonder what more we could do with this. And I found out there was actually an organization and contact with her. And I was like, hey, what can I do to help? She says, donate money. So, okay. So I actually got my company to donate $500. They had no clue what they were donating to, but they donated $500. I was like, here you go. What's next? She goes, join the board. Okay. So we joined the board and helped park and then become vice president. And it wasn't that I felt I needed to do those things, but Bev was inspiring. And like was shared earlier, the trail has inspired so many things. Speedway Running Club, Speedway Bicycle Club, the Junior Running Club off of that. Even the school systems utilize the trail systems for some of their activities. It actually provides safe route to schools for some of those school systems with some of the safe crossings. Then kids crossing 5 streets without stoplights, maybe 1 street with a hawk system. But the latest grant that went after us and really kind of rung the bell was visionary, and it wasn't so much for the town of Speedway. It was for our neighbors and for connectivity, and piecing together a great staple of a trail system between the Eagle Creek Greenway and the B&O that cornerstones the west side into the trail platform. Everyone was always Monon, the Monon, the Monon, and then the cultural trail, the cultural trail. Now we are being talked about, and the way that Bev and our relationship with CICF allowed us to grab a $5 million grant. The way we wrote it and beat out the city of Indianapolis for a trail system, grant money like that. And then the work that was done between Bev and Allison Duncan to change the way that money was applied to trail work and some of the engineering and stuff that went into it was visionary. And it will be long looked at and a staple for future applications for the state of Indiana. So that's what really, really inspired me most about Trails, Bev, and working with her for the last 15 years.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, come on. Allison and I had to think outside the box. I don't know about visionary, but it was definitely outside the box.
So my name's Alyssa Prezo, and I was part of the design team with Allison and with Bev. And we started this design process right as the pandemic hit. So a lot of our meetings were online. But one day we said, you know what, let's go walk that trail. So we got out to the site, and Bev showed up with her chainsaw. And so when Richard talked about clearing trees, she literally cleared trees so that we could walk the trail before, just so that we could understand how did it feel and what was the design going to be. It was at that moment, I knew she was passionate. It was at that moment I was a little scared. It's like, she really is passionate about this, so congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate that. I didn't mean to scare you. That's one thing about my late husband. My late husband and I had a little saying that when we met, he had a chainsaw and I had a tractor, and we cleared the trail together. And it takes people working together, and some know how to use chainsaws and some people know how to drive tractors.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Bentley. I was a 23-year resident of Speedway and then moved out to Wayne Township. So I walked the P&E Trail many years before moving, but I moved out to Wayne Township and became involved with an organization called Indy Gateway. And we have been working alongside with Bev, and I want to thank Bev for a lot of her guidance. We've been raising money to make that connection between Speedway and Hendricks County for the last 10 years. And we are actually in the process of building a trailhead at Chapel Rock Christian Church. It'll be starting in this year. But I just want to thank Bev. Interestingly enough, several years back, I was invited to the B&O Trail Christmas party, and at the time, Diane Virgil, it was before Jeff became the president, was there, and Bev was there, and my husband came with me, and he was listening to everyone, and he got in the car, and he goes, "Those two women are pretty strong-willed women, aren't they?" I said, "Yes, they are." And then later on, I went and helped Bev park cars, and I came home and I said, "You should see him park cars." People go where they tell them to go. But what I really want to thank her for is just guiding us on our process to make that connection, because as important it is for Speedway to have trails, it's just as important for the Wayne Township community to have access to trails too. And so her guidance on applying and trying to raise money and work with the B&O Trail to get the trailhead moving forward has been instrumental. So I want to thank you for all of your guidance, because I didn't even know what she was talking about in some of the calls, and she'd guide me and tell me and what to put in it and what to say, And so we appreciate that, and we're really looking forward to kind of getting that final stretch completed for the west side, where Speedway can ride out to Brownsburg and Brownsburg can ride into Speedway and really share our communities, and I think that'll be wonderful. It's going to provide a lot of access in Wayne Township. There's the city is in design to put sidewalks down Girls School Road from Perimeter Road to 21st Street. So that provides even more accessibility to the trails for that community. So we're really looking forward to that. So
And the group that you lead for the fundraising is, we started off as Flapjacks.
we were the Flapjacks 5K, and then we became the Gateway Gallop because, well, it's because Flapjacks, the restaurant, it's a long story. They changed their name. There's a lot of legalities, and she finally told me, if you keep the name Flapjacks on it, I'm going to get sued. And I said, okay, well, let's think about how we can change that. So it became the Gateway Gallop. We still serve the pancakes at the event.
When
But
is it?
it is August 2nd this year, but
Runners out there?
yeah, our funds have and will continue to go to trails on the west side, primarily the B&O. We've also been helping with the White Lick Creek Vandalia Trail, which comes out of Plainfield into the west side over near Bridgeport. So that is in the works. Greg Midgley's here with the National Heritage Road. I don't know if I have those in the right order. The US 40 Heritage Trail, but also with the White Lick Creek Vandalia Trail Alliance on the west side. So there's even more trails that will be coming into Marion County on the far west side. So, but it is interesting that early on he said, those are some strong-willed women. And I said, yes, they are. I thought he was married to one, but apparently they really impressed him. But thank you, Bev.
Tim Ramian, all out, done every job in town, just about.
Just about. My name's Tim Ramian. My wife Bonnie and I bought our house at 1227 Nestor Street in 1985. Nestor Street is right behind the junior high school. There's only 5 houses on the street, and literally, 20 feet from our kitchen window is the railroad track. And when we bought the house, kind of on a risk of having trains run by there every day, several trains, we bought it because it was Speedway. And by 1987, when our second son was born, the trains were down to like 1 train a week maybe. And by 1990, they were gone. And then, the rest of the story, they started pulling the rails up and then the ties. And then we noticed there were a lot of junior high kids going there to smoke. It was a different administration. I don't see any school administration here right now, but that's irrelevant. There was a couple fires set along the track there. There were a lot of people using that empty railroad bed to walk on, and Sharon Ziska was the town clerk at the time, and she asked that 91-year-old school teacher and myself and another neighbor that was close by, Jeff Wilson, I think his name was, to form a committee to look at the feasibility of turning that into a trail. Well, Jeff and I were in favor of it, and the school teacher was not. Because, and I live, Jeff and I both lived also along the trail, but we said people are using that already. Why don't we make it something safe, cut a lot of the underbrush out of there? Well, there were a lot of other reasons why that never came to fruition, mostly was who owned the land. And so that's sad. But then a lady named Bev Alexander at the time came along, and she was knocking on our door, and she had papers in her hand, and she wanted us to sign papers. And I said, Bonnie and I will sign anything. We want to see a trail there. We think it needs to happen. And then she got Herman Greenwood, who's deceased now, but he was kind of the legal expert that helped. This was the early days of all that. And right, and we signed papers that we would give up the land across the alley. And we didn't even know that was really our land or not. I know, but we signed paperwork to say, if that is our property, we will give that up and donate it to the trail. Well, Long story short, you all know what happened. The town got the grant. We were able to get a little bit of money that we paid for our son and daughter-in-law's bar tab at their wedding with the money from that land. So, but my story about Bev was, by this time she was Bev, and she had married Don Katterhenry, and we would see Bev, driving a tractor, and like Lisa Bentley said, a strong-willed woman, but we saw her confront a lady that had a dog. Either the dog was taking care of business on the trail or it was loose, and she walked up to that lady and said, there's an ordinance out there, you have to leash this dog. And the lady started to get a little confrontational with Bev, but she didn't back down, and she said, "That's my Serb woman coming out." So her Serbian heritage came out, but I also called Bev the Amazon woman, kind of like Diana Prince, the Wonder Woman, because she made this all happen, and she is Bonnie and our hero, and we thank you for all you did for us.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. We have to end this before more stories come out. This is not good. Uh-oh. Is Tom here? Tom's still here.
all these-
Serbian roots.
All these stories are wonderful, and for the record, I'm Richard Vonnegut. There's so many stories, and I love oral history. And what I would like to do is offer you this chance. If you'll remember Vonnegut at indy.net, I would love to get messages from you and set up times when I could go out and record your time, or several get together at a table and just reminisce about oral history. Certainly start off with Speedway Trails, but we could get into a variety of other things to just simply set up oral history of Speedway. And I know there's the closed circuit TV that's done things like that, but there's so much particularly about the trail. So if you'd let me know at vonnegut@indy.net your interests, I'll set up a time, and and I have an office far away from here in Fort Harrison, but we could sit down with a mic and record matters and go from there. So I suggest this offering to all of you.
All right, thank you. We got time to call it quits. No more stories.
There are thousands more stories. I'm sure we could be here all night, as 2025 can mark just a time to reminisce about the impact that Bev has as she thinks about moving a little bit east on 70. We'll keep her here as long as we can. So thank you all again for coming. Thank you to Michelle, who really put on a lot of this, our secretary. Thank you to all that have contributed any pictures or videos. I'm trying to figure out a way to get this presentation probably on our Facebook page, so that you can just see the time lapse. There's a really cool part of this here, where you can go on Google Maps, and you can just see on Google Maps the impact that Bev has had on Speedway Trails. So this is the P&E looking towards the racetrack. This is the B&O Trail heading towards Eagle Creek. This is the this is the B&O heading back to Leonard Park. This is the crossing at Holt Road. Holt Road's crossing of the B&O. This is a little bit further towards downtown on the B&O, getting closer to Michigan Road. And so just go to Google Maps. Speedway has developed a lot, and Bev has developed our trails here. So again, thanks to her. Thank you all for coming. There is a Red Bull if you brought cards or any gifts or trinkets that you can pass on to Bev. And I do have Bev trivia planned. And so if you stick around a little bit longer and it dies down, I asked Bev 10 questions, and I got whiteboards. I'm a high school teacher, and so I can throw candy at you if you can guess the speed that she has maximed in that car that she mentioned. I think you gave that one away, yeah, and some other interesting facts. But yeah, so again, thank you all for coming, and of course, thanks to Bev for being the inspiration of our town.
Thank you.
Yep.
We are now on the Peoria Eastern Rail Trail. It is officially a trail now. Speedway Trails wants to encourage all the small nonprofit volunteers across the state. It's very important to keep talking about your vision, keep dreaming your dream, talk to everyone you meet, your friends, your neighbors, people you don't know. We will continue volunteering until we connect the White River to the Wabash River. Thank you. Next year, we'll have paved trails. Next year, along Crawfordsville Road, the Peoria Eastern, will be paved. And B&W Plumbing is now working with us, and we're going to be able to leave the gate open and be able to cut through the B&W over to the brand new sidewalks on Cunningham. So now we got sidewalks, and we're going to have paved trails. And in 2 years, in 2014, the B&O will get paved. The town of Speedway has a grant to get that paved. So most of it will be paved. We kind of like to leave the Eagle Creek Trail as a natural trail. It'll be crushed stones for runners and walkers to not be in mud.
but we still need to find a grant for the Eagle Creek Trail. But we got the Peoria Eastern and the B&O, and in 2014 we ought to be mostly paved. So we're making progress. We're getting there. It's just a long progress. When you're working with government, you have to be patient. And we need the funds also. When you get government grants, you have 20% matching funds. And that's the purpose of our fundraiser here, is to get the matching funds so that we can get grants and get the trails maintained and made up better. So we still need the matching funds. Anybody who wants to volunteer, anybody that wants to donate, you're welcome to donate anytime. Our webpage is Speedway Trails, plural, because we got more than one trail in Speedway, speedwaytrails.org. And just give us a call, send us an email, and we'd be happy to have you join us, take your donation, take your volunteer time to help us clear up the trails.
What Bev wants, Bev gets. And to the benefit of the town of Speedway. Because through this vision, I mean, look at what's happened. And part of our economic development is built around the connectivity and trails. The increase of activity, especially through this COVID environment, has been tremendous. So yeah, Bev wanted trails, and Speedway got trails, and we are a better town for it. So thank you, Bev.
Thank you. Thank you. I think the main motivation for trails was when I came up to this little shelter and I looked and I said, "Where's the trail? I don't see anything. All I see are weeds and brush." And I walked down this path, and I walked up a little tiny narrow path up on top of the railroad bed, and it was about 2 feet wide, and there was branches down. And I looked and wow, that's a neat little door to the woods. How cool is that? But then I turned around and I could see every single kid on the playground. I could see every single parent. They could not see me. I was hidden. And that just broke my heart, and I said, we got to make this safe. And now we have a safe trail in Speedway, and it's just so cool. Thank you for showing up. This is just really awesome. Thank you to for the Eagle Scouts for putting this bench in, and it's been an awesome ride. And here we go. We're going to go further. We've got our preliminary plans to go east and connect downtown, and then the year after that we'll be building the bridge and heading west. So I never expected to go further than Speedway. That's why we're called Speedway Trails. But we're going to connect, and I'm driven to connect, and it's really awesome. So thank you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. The actual abandoned B&O Railroad is 67 miles and ends in Montezuma, Indiana. So the original goal was to connect the White River to the Wabash River in Montezuma. And that's where we're going to try to keep getting to. The railroad CSX abandoned the bridge over the Wabash and paid a company to demolish it, and DNR, Department of Natural Resources, bought that bridge, and there's a group in Montezuma that has put a new decking on it and is using it as a trailhead, and they're trying to come east to meet us. So we're working from both ends, and hopefully we'll meet in the middle someday. Before we got the Next Level Trail grant, I never imagined that the Eagle Creek Bridge would be possible to build, and I never imagined going east to connect downtown to the White River.
The Speedway Trails Association members knew if they wanted a bridge across Eagle Creek, they needed money, a lot of money. And so they got to work filling out grant applications.
One reason we were first choice for the Next Level Trail grant was because of all the people involved. There's Speedway Trails, there's Department of Natural Resources, the matching funds that came from Central Indiana Community Foundation, the City of Indianapolis, and a lot of coordination that had to go on between everybody.
In 2019, their work paid off. Governor Holcomb awarded the Speedway Trails Association a Next Level Trails grant and presented a check to Beverly Katterhenry, the Speedway Trails Association president. With this funding, the B&O Trail through Speedway could now be completed.
The Speedway Trails grant was the first application they accepted. To me, it was a big deal. Governor Holcomb was there, Mayor Hogshead was there. It was just a fun day, and they gave us a nice big check for almost $5 million. Plus the matching funds from Central Indiana Community Foundation will allow us to build all the way from Michigan Street to about the middle of Farley. In 2007, when Speedway Trails was getting organized, we came up with our vision statement, and we wanted the trail to be accessible for everything from wheelchairs to strollers. And it is so much fun to see both of those on the trail. So there's always the accessibility for everyone to use the trail. Thank you, Governor Holcomb. Appreciate your advocacy and this opportunity for the Next Level Trail Grant. It is critical to connecting communities across Indiana, and we appreciate you supporting Speedway Trails. Want to thank you, all our friends at Department of Natural Resources. You are inspiring. It is your constant work and your extensive efforts that have brought us here today, and we appreciate all the work that the Department of Natural Resources has done. It's kind of important that we connect the small town of Speedway with the big city of Indianapolis. Back several years ago when we started this push, we called it Downtown Culture, Connecting to Racing Culture, so it's going to happen. Speedway Trails wants to encourage all the small nonprofit volunteers across the state. It's very important to keep talking about your vision, keep dreaming your dream, talk to everyone you meet, your friends, your neighbors, people you don't know.
I can assure you any mayor of this city will leave office with more muscular thighs. And thank you for keeping me in shape. In all seriousness, I do want to thank Governor Holcomb, the Central Indiana Community Foundation, the Parks Foundation, obviously Speedway Trails, all of the community partners, of course, the historic town of Speedway, all participating in today's announcement. With this announcement, we will soon have even more that connects downtown Speedway to Indianapolis's near west side. Once the B and O trail extends to Michigan Street, it will join up with soon to be installed bike lanes, becoming part of a dense network of bike and pedestrian friendly pathways like the White River Parkway Trail, the Cultural Trail, and the coming Eagle Creek Trail. For those in our city who would like more mobility options, this day's news is great news.
It's really my honor, actually, to invite up Beverly. She's had an incredible pit crew, I guess you could say, surrounding you. A lot of experts who have not just dreamt about this, but have been doing this for a long, long time. And Beverly, we really want to not just extend this $4.8 million check does cash, by the way. It's foam. But it will deposit in cash. But we're really expressing in that our confidence and our encouragement and gratitude for what you're continuing to do here in our state. So with that, Beverly, if you'd please step forward, I want to express my gratitude.
my grandkids always want to go to the candy store and to the Fun Days ice cream. So ride your bicycle or run. If I want to get their attention, I say, okay, let's get on our bikes and go get some ice cream.
Without Bev, this would never have been here.
Diana, thank you, Diana.
This is why you need really great people from all areas of the 65 miles. I still haven't got anybody from Putnam and Park, but we'll work on that. But thank goodness with Bev and Frank and all of the Speedway Trails things, because they've made it happen. And what a benefit and a blessing for Speedway. So thank you, guys.